coming up is a guest who's going to talk to us about her elder law practice. And Sarah is super fun, super laid back. I can't wait for you to meet her. She's an author and just really smart lady. So she'll be joining us in a second. But first, check out this video.
Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Everline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care.
Hello, hello, hello. I'd like to welcome to the virtual stage, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, I am so excited about you sharing your story because when I read about you, I was like, oh my gosh, she's one of those people that came out of the womb with like a suitcase and like ready to be Elsa. Like you started your firm at 24. Walk us through that journey.
Completely wild. Even funnier than that, I remember like when I was 9, I would have my little sister sign legal contracts to do my chores for me. And she couldn't tell my parents there was a non-disclosure contract or agreement in there. Yeah, it's a true story. We found one the other day and we kind of laughed our head off. I think she's entitled to back compensation, but don't tell her.
Stop it. Where did you learn this? Like for real?
I don't know. I just figured if it's on paper and she signed it and I signed it, like it's a thing. And so I guess no one was really surprised when I became a lawyer as a grown-up. But
so you became a lawyer and then walk us through that journey of like, okay, and now I'm going to just start a law firm. What was that like?
You know what? So I always thought, even before becoming a lawyer, I always had that in me, but I thought I was going to be a journalist. Okay. I studied all through high school. I was worked at newspapers, went to college, worked in a TV station the whole time. I have a undergraduate degree in telecom. I thought that was going to be my thing. Okay. I love telling stories. I love advocating for people.
So you're freaking me out because I feel like you're me in an alternate universe. Cause I swear to God,
no,
same story. Like I wanted to be a journalist. I was working at NBC while I was going to Berkeley, and that was a career path that I was on. Like, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
I totally get it. Like, I love telling people stories. I feel like there's power in educating people and offering different perspectives on things. But to be completely honest with you, I was disillusioned by the traditional media sources that exist. Everything is so censored and everything was dependent on what the advertisers wanted. And I just got really mad. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to advocate for people, I'm going to figure out a way to do it outside of this space. So that's what prompted me to go to law school. I'm like, okay. And then when I was in law school, I worked at a bunch of different firms, and every single place I worked, I'm like, I could do this better. There's a way. I am a very, high touch person. I want to get to know my client. I believe in the old school method of being a lawyer. I want to know your whole story. How can I help you? How can I be a part of that journey from start to finish? And when I was working at other law firms, it was like everyone was a cog in the wheel. They were a billable hour to me. And I had to meet a certain quota of people or tasks or whatnot to be considered successful. And it just didn't feel right to me. When someone was coming in and telling me their story, I was literally being told, you're on a clock, cut them off, keep going.
And that's the most important part, right?
Right. Developing that connection. So we, at our law firm, we spend so much time with the clients, and then we end up being their family's attorney. So it's not just the parents will end up representing their kids or their aunts and uncles and cousins and whatnot. And I love that because, you're really a part of the fabric of that family. And that's the old school business model that we've gone away from. And no place that I worked really had that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make it myself. And Yeah, 24 was definitely hard. I look back now, I'm like, man, I was a little baby looking at those pictures.
But you went
But I
for it.
couldn't have done it any other way, to be honest.
Listen, I don't know if you've seen the movie Sliding Doors, where it's like the alternate, like, anyway,
Is that
where
us? Is
where
this
kinda.
happening?
So let me tell you where, and I'm not gonna judge myself, but let me tell you where I made different choices. That part where you were like, oh my gosh, like this isn't what I thought, and you like went into your altruistic like space. I admire the courage that you had to just like go for it, because that was the part where I was like, but how am I going to pay for law school? Like I was the first in my family, to go to college or whatever, and I still had all these like mindset things where I just felt like the world was just so scary. Like little did I know it's really not that scary. It's just all a game, right? But um I just stopped. I was like, nope, I'm gonna see what my next, like I feel like I went down the marketing route, and not that I regret it because I love it and I help attorneys like you, but I went down the marketing route, but I could have easily just gone down the legal route if I would have just had the courage to like just go for it. But I just felt like it was too much. Like I was very insecure basically at that age. And it sounds like you were like, nope, I'm doing this. Like I love that.
But Marita, I really believe like all our life choices bring us to where we're supposed to be, right? And you are still in the legal space and you're helping people like me, for example, and you're so obviously personable and passionate about what you do. And I believe, quite honestly, like you're fulfilling like a different side of the wheel, like we couldn't do what we
Yes.
do without people like you, right?
Absolutely. And to your point, yes, it does come in handy that I had that experience and that journey up to that point, that path, right? Because come full circle, now I'm like, I know how attorneys think as much as I can without being an attorney.
I'm
Because
sorry.
a lot of it, I
It's
think, is
weird up
personality.
here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a little dark, right?
It's
But like,
a little weird up here. Yep. Yeah, we got some weird brains, weird stuff going on. Like I'll tell you that.
yeah.
I always tell people that have like attorney friends or married to an attorney or understand an attorney, like God help you. Like
Right.
it's fun. It's fun all the time.
Like pick your poison. I like this poison. Anyway,
Mhm.
so it's fun. But so you are also an author. Walk us through, like, then you wrote a book. Or I don't know if you did this when you were 10 as well, but or 9 or 10 writing contracts, but
Oh my gosh. I love and I have a huge passion for helping families that have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's and dementia. Like that journey, I was exposed to it pretty early on in my career. My ex-husband is a palliative care physician. His very first job after we were married, he was the medical director for hospice. So I saw up close and personal, like just the trajectory that families go through, like after a diagnosis. I saw the end of life piece. And I also saw that there wasn't enough education and resources for those people. Like I even going online myself, like I'm a super nerd, you probably can't tell, but like where I would like look up look up stuff that exists, and none of it was easily accessible for families and in a way that actually makes sense. And that's my passion when it comes to the law. Like I don't believe in speaking super high level to people. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Like anything that we do or you sign, you got to know what you're signing. You got to know what you're getting into. And when it came to Alzheimer's and dementia, like nothing I found was just something a family could read in an evening and understand, like, these are the steps that you need to take from a legal and care standpoint to make sure your person's taken care of. So the books, like, they're super short. I call them shooks. They're short books. You can read them in an
okay.
evening.
Okay.
There's 3 of them, and they're all from a different vantage point. And the
Okay.
idea behind them was I want to give you an introduction to what this journey is going to look like. And these are the things that you really need to think about on the front end. Because Alzheimer's and dementia, the hardest part about it is you're actively grieving someone while they're still with you, right? You're losing bits and pieces of them along the way. And we want to do our best to get as many of those really difficult conversations and decisions out of the way in the beginning of the process. Because while that person is still able to communicate and be an active participant in their own journey, because what ends up happening is, we're talking around that person and we're not able, like, once it gets to a certain point, they can't communicate with us. And I've been in that room before where, they're kind of there, but they're not there, or they can't even be there at all because they get too agitated. And I'm just really passionate about client having a say so when it comes to their life, or clients, excuse me. And so yeah, I'm trying to get the awareness of like, if you have a diagnosis, there's certain things you have to make sure you get done on the front end. You have to get your incapacity planning done. Let's talk about, what does care look like? Yes, you want to stay at home for how long? When can we, transition elsewhere? Like our firm, we have a whole care coordination department to help people bridge the gap between the medical and the legal. Like I really like the holistic view of a care plan for somebody. It's not just legal documents. It's like, what's next in addition to that?
Yeah, and it's so complicated. Like as you're talking, I'm a little hesitant to share this, but what the heck? I actually am going through a personal situation right now with somebody that I love who's actually not a family member. And it does feel really overwhelming because I sometimes stay up late at night and I'm like wondering, like, is she okay? And she's at that point where like she still calls me and I know somewhat of what's going on, but I don't trust it because it's like, you know what I mean? It's like not,
Mhm.
and it's just like it's tough. Like if you've gone through it or if you've dealt with people with memory loss, like it can be overwhelming when it gets to a certain point. So I can see the value of what you're describing, where if you know that's where something is going for someone, getting these things done up front. And I remember I tried, like when I first saw some signs, I was like, can you please hire a lawyer? Like, can you please take care of XYZ? But again, like not a family member, like lives on the other side of the country. So, in a very like personal, like emotional, like, oh man, like I've felt this in my heart. Like I can vouch for the importance of what you're describing, to be in touch with an attorney, a law firm like yourself that can help, because you never know, like you really don't ever know when you're going to need to have these things in place. So Sarah, walk us through your geographic areas that you serve, and how can people get a hold of you if they're like, I really maybe need to talk to somebody from Sarah's team.
So right now, thank you for asking. We serve the entire state of Florida. The goal is for us to expand outside of Florida in the coming years, but as of right now, it's the entirety of Florida. Our brick and mortar locations are primarily in the central region, although we do see people from all over, virtually. We have e-notarization capabilities and all the things. But yeah, so like the way that people get a hold of us, if you call our office, they'll direct you to the right team member and get you going.
And now walk us through, what are some of the tips that you can give to attorneys who maybe don't practice elder law and need to know the signs of when maybe it's time to refer a case to you, or refer one of their inquiries that they're getting to their law firm, to a law firm like yours?
Anytime, Margarita, they notice any neurocognitive deficits, if they got a terminal illness diagnosis, if let's say if it's a personal injury law firm, someone got a settlement, maybe they need a way to protect it for their families. Anytime someone's passed away and their assets are tied up because they didn't do the proper planning and probate's involved, that's the process of getting stuff from a family to their family through the court system. Pain in the if I'm being honest, but like definitely something we handle. So those are like, the kind of indicators, anytime, because we work with a lot of different attorneys where they're like, oh, something doesn't seem right with this person. Like we need to make sure, we can even do work with them, or they need some additional planning done that they don't handle, like their power of attorney documents or their wills and their trusts, or someone's not their own decision maker, then they don't know what to do. So we would get a guardian involved and things like that.
So you are recently looking at, or have already recently rolled out, new practice areas. Walk us through, has it happened because of these complex pieces?
Yeah. So honestly, it's kind of funny because anytime we've added a practice area, it's always been something like, I'm not going to do that. Like initially I'm like, I'm not adding this. Like, I'm good where I'm at, but then it just ends up, being just such an integral part of our other cases. And then referring it out, like they're annoyed of having to deal with two lawyers. And I'm like, okay, all right. So maybe I'll like dip my toe in it and look at this and whatnot. So like, for example, we just added real estate because so many of our trusts and wills and probate cases have a real estate component to them, and we were referring out the real estate, but then the family is like, why don't you do it? Why doesn't your firm just do it? And eventually I heard that enough times. I was like, fine, I'll do it. And honestly, it's actually been really fun. So anytime I do that, like I have that resistance, then we end up doing it. I'm like, why didn't I do this before? Like it's been great. So
I if we're the same person, my guess is because you take the responsibility very seriously and you want to make sure that you get it right.
Absolutely.
And it's to roll in a new thing. Because that's how I am.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Like it took me about 2 years before I officially made that transition to adding that on, because what we do can catastrophically affect someone's life in a negative way. And if you don't know what you're doing. So like I always tell people I am a master in what I know about. And if I don't know, I'm not too scared to tell you that I don't know. Like I don't know, but I'll know who to ask. I'll get you an answer. I'll research it. But in the moment, if I don't have an answer for you that I'm confident about, I don't know. I'm really sorry. Like this is a new situation I haven't had to deal with or whatnot. So yeah, no, I like to stay in my lane. Sometimes we'll add more lanes to the highway. But for the most part, like I'm not jumping around, and pretending like I know everything about everything, because I don't. But I do know what we do pretty well, and that highway may get bigger soon. Who knows? As we continue on this journey, it's been a decade of fun and learning, and I can't wait to keep doing it.
Yeah, and for those of you that are listening, I'll add this, and you're an example of one of the ways of doing business. Another way of doing business that I see that's very common, it's I scaled this part of my business, and now I have an opportunity to sell this other thing, whether it's a law firm or any other business. That's the mindset. And I have people willing to pay for it. Let me just launch. Like there's a lot of that going on. And then there are others that they have the opportunity, they have the market, but it's a big responsibility. So maybe they don't like launch as quickly or launch everything, because it's not just about the revenue, it's about the responsibility. And I'm definitely a lot like you. Like I'm good. Like I'd rather have self-control and sleep at night that I did a good job, that my team did a good job, and even still, like, sometimes I'm like, we could do better, but it's from a place of, because there's always better, right? Like in marketing, we call it A/B testing. You do things and then you want to do it better. Like that's normal, but like, it's always with the sense of, all right, like, we did this with a thorough process, with thought behind it, with the best intentions, and keeping the client in mind. So, Sarah, I have one more question for you, and I'm so sorry I went way over time.
You're really good.
What is your favorite sandwich? Because this is, after all, the Care Sandwich podcast.
Pastrami on rye, for sure. Hands down.
Is there a favorite place? Is there a favorite place that you like to get it from?
I don't even remember the name of the place, but there was this tiny little hole in the wall that was by one of the courthouses I used to go to in Citrus County. This little man. I remember what he looks like. It was the best sandwich I've had in my life. And I went back and he had closed during the pandemic, and I was so sad. So the nameless shop by the Citrus County Courthouse would be the top place. I have not topped it since.
That's cool. It's so funny how like your pattern of like, it's always people, even with your sandwich, it's like what stays is people and the feelings. That's pretty cool. But then you're very analytical. So
like I said, it's fun up here.
There's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, no, I love it. I have a circus brain too. It's all good. But for those of you that tuned in, I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did. This was very helpful. I love, and I'm very inspired by your story. Please connect with Sarah if you or a loved one could use some help in these practice areas that she handles. You're going to be in good hands. And definitely share this recording with your friends, because we never know when we might need this sort of help. And I'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich. And Sarah, I'll see you backstage.
Sounds good. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich.